My name is Wahid Hamidi.
I'm Mustafa Kari.
And I'm Abed Hamidi.
And for our film project, we're going to be discussing representation of women in Arab cinema and media.
First, we will be introducing a historical timeline,
followed by an in-depth interview.
And finally, we're going to present a game show.
I hope you enjoy. Although females in Arab cinema have been historically oppressed, they have played an integral role in developing Arab cinema. For example, in Egypt, women were not permitted the same privileges as men. From the early stages of Arab cinema to contemporary films, filmmakers have influenced both positive and negative perceptions of women as leaders, icons, and equals. The first domestically produced motion picture in 1918, women have not only contributed but also pioneered the film industry. As Egypt industrialized and nationalized the film industry, female movie actors represent the country of Egypt as a symbolic figure. Following privatization, new Arab cinema films revised negative stereotypes towards women and instead promoted women's rights. Therefore, this short film will depict the issue of representation of women in Arab cinema and media.
For men in the Arab world, regarding media and cinema, they feel absolutely free. For women in the Arab world regarding Arab cinema and media, it feels like they're locked up in a cage. Historically, the deficit of women's empowerment has not simply been a problem of justice and equality, but a major problem in the Arab world's identity. For women, it feels like they're trapped in a cage and there's nowhere to go. But nowadays, Arab women are turning to media as a means for their empowerment, as a medium for their education that overcomes barriers such as time and distance, and as a tool to advance their development and their communities. It was Lebanon that opened wide doors for women in media. Lebanese channels hired females to present shows and news, but only covering topics such as fashion, diets, and foods, and neglecting male-dominated topics such as politics, the government, and economy.
An example of women's increased roles in Arab film can be seen in Lebanon with Nadine Labaki. She is one of the most famous Arab film directors in the Middle East. She believes that it is very difficult for people in the Middle East, especially minorities, to grow and develop as film directors because it is such a small country that has been torn by war for many years. Motivation is on the rise for Middle Eastern women because they realize that not only can they make films, but they can also make a difference in the process. Films coming from women in the Middle East are not only stories, but they're also a cry for help. Nadine Labaki is a great example of women and other minority groups fighting for their rights in the Arab world, which has been known to suppress the ability for women to have a voice.
Hi everyone, my name is Wahid Hamidi and welcome to my talk show host. Today is an extremely exciting day. We will be discussing the topic of representation of women in Arabic cinema and media. During the 1990s, the Arab films neglected the problems facing peasant and working women, concentrating only on modern urban women without bringing in the full dimension of their personalities as human beings. The films offered no real portrayals of exemplary women in roles such as social, cultural, and political roles. With that being said, everyone please welcome my first guest, Hafiz Nazri. Welcome, Hafiz. You as well. Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come meet with us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Hafiz is one of the most popular Arab film critiques in the world. So Hafiz, what do you know about Arabic cinema?
Well, I enjoy watching Arab cinema. I like to think I'm very knowledgeable on this topic. My favorite filmmaker has to be Youssef Chahine. Specifically, I like how he incorporates his personal life into films such as an autobiography.
That's perfect. So, what can you tell me about the representation of women in Arabic cinema?
To be honest, I know a lot about this topic, but I need a quick refresher.
That's okay. Lucky for you, I have a special guest speaker who is an expert when it comes to representation of women in Arabic cinema. Everyone, please welcome Abed Hamidi.
So Hafiz, this is what you need to know about the representation of women in Arab cinema and media. History reveals that since the beginning of cinema, Hollywood's movies have humiliated, demonized, and criticized Arab women. For decades, Western media showed Arab women as either covert, conservative, and dominated by men, or as sex objects, doing pornographic Oriental dances to entertain men. Negative stereotyping of women and rigid gender roles keep women from entering male-dominated sectors or accessing top managerial positions. The most representative model of woman in Arab cinema was found in Egyptian films during Egyptian cinema's decades of output. Researchers studied the image of women in Egyptian films and found the following results. There was an approximate estimate of 410 films produced during the years 1962 and 1972, which showed the following diversity by percentage. In the dark blue sector, 42% of females had no given profession in their film. In the orange sector, 19% were housewives, wives, divorcees, or widows. In the purple sector, 20% were working women. In the yellow sector, 10% were students. And in the light blue sector, 9% were artists. The most significant and by far the highest percentage is that of women without any profession. In fact, the woman has just a female account for more than 80% of women's roles in commercial Arab films. And this portrayal has had the greatest influence on the public. Women's social, political, and cultural roles were clearly absent from the films, indicating that Arab cinema shows has no concern for the evolution of women's position in Arab societies. In contrast, as a response to the misinterpretation of women in the Arab world, Queen Rania of Jordan launched the Arab Women's Media Campaign to remind heads of satellite channels and other media leaders that they had a role to play in correcting misconceptions about Arab women and encourage the efforts for changing current stereotypes affecting them in a more strategic manner. It is this type of surge that has helped the repression of women in the Arab world. Arab media responded by developing more positive images of women that reflect daily life through featuring women in the Arab world as submissive wives, happily using the products being sold. There was too much focus on housewives and too little attention given to women as workers or political leaders. Therefore, Arab media focus has turned towards a different but still stereotyped direction. The new information technologies have allowed women in the Arab world to be seen as equal to men in their ability to discuss, investigate, report, and present various issues. They facilitated links and networks for women to interact effectively and share information and resources faster. Meanwhile, the women's movement in the region are increasingly using the electronic media to move forward their promotion. No doubt, rapid growth of technology enhanced the presence of women in the Arab media. However, the question raised is not whether the increased presence of women in Arab media has led to an increase in their availability and display of information about women before the public opinion. Instead, the question is whether it has contributed to a qualitative change in women's political and social status in the region. Although there has been a steady increase in the number of women professionals over the past 20 years in the Arab world, most mainstream press coverage continues to rely on men as experts in the fields of business, politics, economics, and sports. Arab women in the news are more likely to be featured as victims in stories about accidents, natural disasters, or domestic violence than in stories about their professional abilities or expertise. Arab women can be seen in the news and political talk shows as presenters or anchors, but rarely as political leaders or experts. However, this inadequate women's coverage seems to be a global phenomenon. On the graph, the blue bars representing males and the orange bars representing females. Based on information collected from monitoring news in 70 countries in different regions of the world, an international report entitled Who Makes the News notes that in stories on politics and government, only 14% of news subjects are women, and in economic and business news, only 20% are women. Even in stories that affect women profoundly, such as gender-based violence, it is the male voice that prevails, while women are more than twice as likely as men to be portrayed as victims. That report adds that women make the news not as figures of authority, but as celebrities, royalty, or as ordinary people. Female newsmakers outnumber males in only two occupational categories, homemaker and student. Men are most often than not the experts and spokesperson. By contrast, women appear in a personal capacity as eyewitnesses, giving personal views, or as representatives of popular opinion. The report concludes that the world we see in the news is a world in which women are virtually invisible. Meanwhile, the number of women working in the media is not an indication of their influence over content. Women continue to be portrayed in a stereotyped manner by the media, and there is an increase in violent and pornographic images of women. Arab media hired more female reporters, announcers, presenters, technicians, and production assistants, but no female high executive. This means that a woman may have a presence, but not a role. decision making is primarily in males' hands, swayed by local, regional, and international political and economic currents, given the country's geographic position.
Everyone, please give a big round of applause for that extremely informative timeline by my good friend Abed Hamidi. So Hafiz, now that you know more about the topic, I'm going to ask you a few more quick questions, such as, how can Arab media promote more positive and realistic portrayal of women?
Well, the media is a primary source to change the portrayal of women. This can be achieved by the efforts of women working within the media. They can start by developing more positive images of women that reflect daily life. For example, they should shift away from showing women as products of slaves or objects. Instead, they need to shift the image of women by focusing on more realistic images of women as mothers, wives, and active participants in the society. This can be done by restoring their misrepresentation, inaccuracies, and demeaning portrayal of women in the media, and promote women who are in the grassroots level of society that are invisible and marginalized in this media.
Interesting. So of course the government plays a key role in the Arab world. How can the government impact the representation of women in Arab media?
Governments are the key players in directing social change. In order for women to be equally represented alongside men, the government needs to restructure their national programs to not only advance women but also integrate measures to monitor treatment of women by the media. By doing so, this would reduce the negative stereotypes regarding women in Arab cinema and would create more positive images. However, in the Arab world, women are generally not participants in governing positions that formulate and implement media policies.
Excellent, Hafiz. You bring up insightful advice. Do you think Arab society would support organizational efforts to change media representation of women? And as well, what can be done at the organization level in terms of policy guidelines to support representation of women in Arab media?
Although the Arab world has integrated Western attitudes and behaviors into Arab society due to influences such as satellite television, there are negative reactions from the Arab society. For example, the Arab society is defensive of its traditions and cultural values, and it's perceived that satellite television is cultural imperialism corrupting the society. Okay? On the other hand, to support representation of women in Arab cinema, there needs to be a media watch organization. This would include a network of individuals who examine and monitor their representation and treatment of women's issues in the local media, and then protest when representation is unfair. I also think non-governmental organizations should play a role in monitoring as well as establishing stronger ties with the media.
Perfect answer. I really like that. So, with that being said, what opportunity does the individual media practitioner have to change?
Well, Arab women are the ones most capable of reflecting the true image of Arab Islamic community in the West. Their role should not be limited to women's issues, but should be expanded to discuss social, economic, and political issues.
I see. So, what can be done in terms of creating awareness within the media organizations about the impact of programming and production decisions on patterns of gender content?
That is a great question. In terms of creating awareness within media organizations, satellite broadcasting has served as a key opportunity to provide access to information and knowledge for Arab women through various satellite services. Because of this, women are able to discuss topics that are previously considered taboo.
So, how do you think women should be represented in the Arab media?
The Arab media plays a key role in promoting women's rights, but is a role that has yet to be fulfilled on a whole range of issues, such as violence against women, equality before the law, women's rights to education, and several more. Part of the issue is that Arab society is suspicious of women's rights advocacy and satisfied about negative stereotyping of women in the media. To see development of women representation in Arab cinema and media, winning over the media will be crucial to promote rights for national development.
Fantastic. That's an awesome answer, Hafiz. So, with that being said, what strategies and recommendations would you offer in promoting representation of women in Arab cinema and media?
Women in media organizations should work to change the media environment through engaging in several activities such as: number one, discuss research-based media issues to raise public awareness of women's issues. Number two, publish a newsletter to promote networking for career promotions and cooperation towards advancing and empowerment of women through the media. Number three, conduct a national-wide television monitoring and raising awareness of the media to bring public attention to misrepresentations, inaccuracies, and demeaning portrayal of women in the media. Number four, organize regional and international workshops and conferences to discuss the issue of representation to women in media. And finally, number five, provide for women on radio productions, electronic networking, and resource center management.
Everyone, please give our special guest speaker, Hafiz Nazri, a big round of applause. Hafiz, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hafiz shed light and tackled the issue of women's representation in Arabic cinema and media through his vast majority of knowledge and experience. So once again, we are so honored to have you today, Hafiz. We hope to have you in the near future, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, we'll see you later.
Welcome to our very special 8-question Arab Cinema edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Here we have our host Mustafa Gary, and we're welcoming our special guest, Yusuf Hamidi. Hey Yusuf, how are you doing today?
Good, you?
I'm good. So, you ready for this very special edition?
Yeah, I'm ready to win $1 million.
Alright, so the way it's going to work today is you have 8 questions, and the grand prize of $1 million, and if you get one question wrong, you go home with nothing.
Sounds good.
Alright, Yusuf, so you're gonna have 2 lifelines. You're gonna have 50-50 and call a friend. So we're gonna get right into it. First question is, in the movie titled Cairo Station, why does Kinawi attempt to murder Hanuma? Was it A, she didn't cook for him? B, she rejected his marriage proposal? C, she ran away with their kids? Or D, she threatened him?
I know this one. Has to be B.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct. Next question is, who was given the name of the Marilyn Monroe of Egypt for her outstanding acting skills and physical appearance? Was it A, Hind Rostam, B, Nadine Labaki, C, Ruba Nada, or D, Mufira Tlatli?
I studied this one. It has to be A.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct. Alright, Yusuf, ready for the third question? Which of Randa Shahal's films won the Silver Lion at the Venice Film Festival in 2003? Was it A, The Infidels, B, Step by Step, C, The Kite, or D, A Civilized People?
It's a tough one. Can I use my 50-50?
Are you sure you want to use that this early?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to cancel out 2 for you. The 2 possible answers are either B, Step by Step, or C, The Kite.
My gut says B. I'm going with B.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct. Next question. In which Lebanese film do we see a move away from traditional political topics to a much more open theme with taboo subjects such as love and sexuality, using 5 women as the main characters? Was it A, Sunscreens, B, Mawal, C, Sultana, or D, Caramel?
I have to go with D.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct. Our next question. In the film Wajda, directed by Haifa Al-Mansour, why is the bicycle seen as dangerous to a girl's virtue in the Saudi Arabian society? Is it A, women have no rights, B. Riding a bike can be seen as sexual, thus haram. C. Prevents women from staying at home to cook, clean, and perform other at-home tasks to keep their men happy. Or D. All the above.
Well, I know that women don't have rights in Saudi Arabia, so I'm gonna have to go with D, all of the above.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
That is correct. Alright, Yusuf, ready for the next question?
Yeah.
In which Tunisian film do we see all three taboo subjects in the Arab world, sex, politics, and religion, used as main themes? Is it A. Zora, B. Halfaween, C. The Dawn, or D. The Silences of the Palace?
Well, the questions are getting harder.
You do have one lifeline left.
Yeah, I'd like to use it. I'd like to call one of Dr. Talim Sani's A+ students, Wahid Amidi.
Alright.
Yeah, Wahid? Yeah, hey. I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and I have a tough question right now, and I'm just wondering if you can help me out. Yeah? Okay, perfect. Here's the question. In which Tunisian film do we see all three taboo subjects in the Arab world, sex, politics, and religion, used as a main theme? Is it A. Zora, B. Halfaween, C. The Dawn, or D. The Silences of the Palace? What do you think? Yeah? Okay, I have faith in you. Okay. See you later. Bye. Okay, so Wahid told me that the answer is B, Halfween, and I have faith in him, so I'm just gonna go with B.
This is a big question. You sure this is the final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Well, you better thank Wahid. That is correct. Alright, Yusuf, 2 questions away from $1 million. In which film does a Muslim woman try to break cultural norms by attempting to marry a non-Muslim man? Was it A. Amrika, B. May in the Summer, C. Sabah, or D. Cairo Time?
Easy, I remember studying this. It has to be C.
That's your final answer?
Yep.
That is correct. Alright, Yusuf, this is for all the marbles. In Divine Intervention, who is the character that fights off the Israeli militants? Is it A. a Christian woman, B. a Muslim man, C. a man with a turban and a big beard, D. an Arab-looking terrorist?
Oh man, you guys will make it easy for the last question.
This is for $1 million.
No more lifelines, huh?
No, make sure you think this one through.
Okay, I have to go with a man with a turban and a big beard. C.
That's your final answer, Yusuf.
I'm not confident, but yeah, I guess.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you for coming on the show, but you came one question short of $1 million. Well, Yusuf, you came far. I want to congratulate you,
Thank you.
and we'll see you next time in the next edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Alright guys, that's a wrap. We really hope you enjoyed this film. We put a lot of hard work and effort into it.
I hope you liked the presentation we provided of the struggle for women filmmakers in the Arab world, and you also enjoyed the examples of the success stories we showed.
Thank you for taking the time and watching this video, and thank you for a great semester, Dr. Tomasani.
Bye.
Bye.